In our current state of the world, when someone tells you, "Oh, you're so vulnerable," it's not quite a compliment. We've been culturally conditioned to believe that a lack of defense, an open display of feeling, is a sign of weakness, the lowest degree of survivability, like a mollusk that failed to grow a shockproof shell. But this comparison is wrong. Humans are not mollusks, not worms. We are infinitely more complex beings. And our strength doesn't lie in a hard rock shell, but in the courage to be vulnerable. And today I want to discuss how this exposure in this oftentimes ruthless world can become the greatest source of our authentic strength. I will share my thoughts and experiences in an honest and open way, like I always do on this channel, that is about the gentle philosophy of finding and nourishing your true self. And I never impose my opinion on others, it's just an invitation to think. Vulnerability is something that you learn only after you get hurt. The first episodes of this experience are unique for everyone, and I don't mean physical pain, but it's more of an emotional and mental pain. It happens when someone finds a sore spot in you and then presses on it. For some people, this is a game they like to play, but overall, the majority of these people who like pressing on sore spots in others are hurt little beings themselves, unable to recognize their own sore spots and preferring to attack first in order not to be attacked, out of fear of this attack. At its heart, to be vulnerable simply means to be capable of being wounded, from its Latin root vulnus, or wound. This isn't about being in pain right now, but about being aware that pain is possible. It's the recognition of our delicate humanity, understanding that we could be hurt, whether by change, loss, or just simple passage of time. Interestingly, in ancient and classical worlds, vulnerability was less a personal failing and more a fundamental shared condition of human existence, often framed by fate and the gods. The Greeks understood it through their concept of harmatia. I hope that I pronounce it right. The tragic flaw in every hero that made them susceptible to downfall. Achilles' heel is not a shameful secret, but the very source of his poignant mortal story. The perception of vulnerability began to shift with the rise of Enlightenment ideals of rationality and self-mastery, and then industrialization brought focus on efficiency and productivity. My personal expression of vulnerability comes in the following ways, which, by the way, can be completely different from yours, and it's fine. I trust people who I feel I can trust, which means not everyone, but when by chance I meet someone who I intuitively feel to be my kin, I am 100% open and sincere and do not shy away from expressing it. I tell people that I like them and that I find them amazing. I learned this phrase from Brian, who once told me that I bear my heart on my sleeve, and I do do this. And does it mean that my heart gets hurt more often than I would want it to? Yes, but also it feels much more than it would feel if I decided to hide it behind some bulletproof doors. Once someone told me, "There are so many ugly words told by people every freaking second, so what's the point in holding the words that express love and kindness? There should be more of them." I'm not embarrassed by my self-expression. Embarrassment is different from shyness. And yes, I'm still shy to share my art, my writing, my thoughts, myself on this channel. My heart still drops every time when I have to hit the publish button, but I still do it. I don't want to take any part of me back away from this world. I remind myself that pain and suffering are always around the corner, but they won't destroy me because I know how to let them pass through me. The story of my life is unique, and so is yours, and no one will ever be able to understand yourself and to see yourself better than you do. That's why keeping in mind the moments when you manage to get up and keep on moving is the best encouragement that you can give to yourself, even if no one can share your inner triumphs. Before I share my thoughts about why people are so afraid to be vulnerable, I want to thank Aura for sponsoring this part of the video and also supporting me on my journey toward more calm and restful living, and most importantly, to restful sleeping. Aura is an all-in-one mindfulness companion that provides an incredible diversity of content, from expert-led meditations and breathwork to CBT, ACT programs, and live community sessions. Every piece of content is crafted by top-tier therapists and coaches, so you can trust the expertise behind it. If you've ever struggled to quiet your mind at night, you know how frustrating it can be. That's why I've curated a special playlist, 30 Restful Nights on Aura, with my favorite meditations, breathwork, and sound baths that melt away the day's tension. And you can join me on this sleep journey with Aura. Setting up your account is very easy. From the very beginning, Aura starts learning your needs and content preferences. Right now, you can get started for completely free on Aura's website using my special link in the description. Only the first 500 people will get a free trial and exclusive 25% off. So why are people so afraid of being vulnerable? This fear stems from a primal place. It's the terror of being seen and then rejected, and having the offered truth met with judgment, ridicule, or indifference. We fear that our vulnerability will be used against us, that it will mark us as incapable or unstable in a society that encourages perfection and productivity. This fear is a defense mechanism. We build facades not out of malice, but out of a deep, ingrained instinct to protect our most tender parts. But a life shielded from vulnerability is a life shielded from life itself. We cannot selectively numb our feelings or emotions. When we wall off vulnerability, we also wall off joy and connection and creativity, and we decide not to embrace the whole textured human experience. The Japanese art of kintsugi, where broken pottery is beautifully repaired, illustrates this principle. The breakage and repair are not something to hide, but it can become part of the object's history and beauty. In the same way, our vulnerabilities are not flaws to be concealed, but the evidence of life fully lived, of risks that have been taken. And when we choose to embrace our tender and unarmored selves, it doesn't become our weakness, but we become more complete, we become more connected and infinitely more resilient. So how can we embrace vulnerability in a soft way? It can be saying, I don't know, when everyone else in the room seems to be pretty certain about something. It can be about having the courage to create something and then sharing it with the world, not knowing whether it will be met with silence or applause. Or it can be simply admitting that you're struggling and asking for help. On a deeper level, vulnerability is expressed through the conscious acceptance of life's inherent uncertainty. It's the raw, open-hearted engagement with the world that we cannot control. It is the ultimate expression of trust in ourselves that we can handle whatever comes, and in others that they will meet our openness with care. Recently, I have finally and fully acknowledged a very fascinating paradox. Vulnerability makes me invincible. The awareness of possible pain, of possible wounds that I might have in the future makes me fearless, even when my heart feels so scared to go on. Because I know that it will go on no matter what, because it's not for the first time and not for the last time. If you have watched the video until this very moment, which I very much appreciate, thank you, I want to share with you one extra insight. At the moment, I'm in the process of my new creative art challenge, sketching challenge, and thanks to it, I get to learn more about the urban nature environment that I'm living in currently. So I've learned that here in Georgia, there are in Tbilisi, in the city of Tbilisi in particular, there are so many oleanders growing in the streets. And I didn't know that before, but oleander is a highly toxic plant, shrub, like it's deadly toxic. And this toxicity is an evolutionary trait. This is how the plant protects itself from being eaten. But at the same time, in the city, there are thousands of plants that are 100% edible, yet they are not extinct. They didn't disappear from the face of the earth just because they decided evolutionarily they have chosen not to be unapproachable. They've chosen not to be toxic out of self-defense. Of course, we humans are not plants, but I thought that it was an interesting metaphor to illustrate my point of view. Feel free to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. What is your relationship with vulnerability? How it has developed over the years? Whether it helped you at some point or not, because different things can happen. Let's have an interesting conversation. Thank you so much for your time, attention, and support of my work, dear friends. As always, for now, be safe and keep your heart open. And I will see you very soon. Пока-пока.